So pleased to have you with us tonight. Welcome, welcome, welcome once again to Jzilla Tuesday Night iRacing. And tonight we are at one of my favorite tracks in the world. I will expound more about how much I love this track throughout the broadcast tonight. But thank you so much for joining us. My name is Jim Hodgson. I am a half of the cross-threaded team, appearing with my friends, the Jzilla family, tonight. Looking forward to some great racing as we move from free practice into qualifying. And we are at Spa-Francorchamps tonight. I can't tell you how excited I am for this broadcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Utterly thrilled to be at Spa. I will go ahead and tell you, as you will hear me say many times during the broadcast tonight, I have had the pleasure of being at Spa, of driving the track myself with a Jzilla trip, and it is one of the greatest days of my life. One of the most fun things I have ever done. And I doubt, well, it was just an absolutely perfect bluebird day. And I say that as somebody who I wished for it to rain that day, and it did rain. And I got to drive Spa in the wet. I mean, could there be anything better? No, there cannot. It was utterly unbelievable. So I will be reliving all of the excitement of that day as I commentate on the race that you're about to see with our Jzilla family. Now, as you can see, we are transitioning from practice to qualifying. Now, there was some trouble I just commentated on a race this weekend, and there was some trouble when we moved into qualifying. I wasn't able to see the actual qualifying, which frankly was weird. I was able to see cars making time. So it's peculiar to me that, as you can see on the broadcast, it says qualify 59:59 and nothing else. So that's weird. But hopefully the computers sort themselves out. Now, if you are an iRacing fan, you know that there was a big new update today. So Lord only knows what's about to happen, because computers are evil and they want us all to suffer. Oh, good times. How's everybody doing out there? So pleased to be with you. While we wait for whatever is going on now, let me quickly take you through. Let's see if I can move the camera at all. Has everything gone hog wild? Is anything working at all? We're just looking. So right now we're looking from sort of the top of the hill at La Source down toward Eau Rouge, and we can see Radillon in the distance. But nothing is happening. It just says qualify. What on earth is going on? Just typing on the racing Discord to see if anybody knows what is happening with this. Now, normally when cars take the track, I'll go ahead and put up the race title in case something interesting happens in the next minute or two. Normally when cars take the track, they go bold on my timing screen. Currently, everyone is gray, which does not bode well, I'm sorry to tell you. I don't seem to be able to select any cars. I am hearing on the Discord that qualifying is happening, but I don't see anyone. Strangeness. Normally during qualifying, I would be able to see cars. Okay, I'm hearing on the Discord I should try to restart the overlay, which I will now do. Well, this is going to be some fun stuff, you guys. You're going to get to see some just computering. Who wants to watch someone load a theme? Isn't that grand? What a treat. Oh, boy. You would think that I would be able to see cars going by if they were. Yeah, still cars are all gray. Well, this happened to me when I was commentating on a race on Saturday as well. It just blank track for qualifying, and then when the race actually started, it was fine again. If you're hearing noises that sound like a person reaching for a cold beverage, it's because I'm reaching for a cold beverage. All right, I'll try restarting iRacing. You guys want to get a look at my desktop? That's what's about to happen. Really quit? Yes. No, I don't need a replay of nothing happening. Yes, quit, for God's sake. All right, whatever. Save, I guess. Quit, would you? Yes. Save. What, are we not quitting? Am I going to have to task manager this bitch? Isn't it enjoyable to watch a man fight with his computer? God's sakes. I feel so professional right now. So utterly professional. It's me. It's what you're seeing right now. It's this. And then when you step up one more step, you're at Hindhaw and Radio Le Mans. So there's nothing in between him and me. He deals with this kind of thing all the time. He's always having to restart Le Mans. He goes out to the cars at IMSA races that he's commentating on. They disappear for qualifying, and he has to go out on track and tell all of them to get off track, and then ask all of them to come back on the track to restart the IMSA race. John Hindhaw has to do that for Radio Le Mans, is what I'm telling you. Well, it appears that the software now knows that qualifying is indeed taking place. So I guess, I don't know. I guess from now on, I won't bother trying to connect the software before qualifying happens. It just seems, I'm interested in qualifying. I like seeing qualifying. But there's some kind of fuck up with iRacing where it shits the bed during qualifying. Well, let's overcome, shall we? As much as we can. Just clicking and clicking and clicking for days. Computers, guys. Just massive pain in the ass. Oy vey. Lucky I have a cold beverage. I'm trying to go back to the point where I was talking about how much I love Spa and how happy I am to be at Spa, and try to sort of regain some of that happiness energy instead of wanting to take this computer and throw it out of the window. I know that you guys know that feeling because you've touched a computer before, and it's impossible to not know that feeling if you have touched a computer before. All right. Once more, friends, with feeling. We'll get through this together, by God. Did I mention thank you for hanging out with me? It doesn't appear that... It looks like everybody who was signed on in the beginning stayed through all of that mess. Thank you for doing that. Very kind of you. So, we are now in the middle of qualifying. Let's see how we're doing. It would appear that a gentleman by the name of Max Muir is at the top of the standings currently, with Olsen, Flannery, Day, and Hazelton rounding out 1 through 5. Let's have a look at Muir on track, if we can even do that. There he is. Muir in the number 11 car. It looks like he's possibly in double gauche right now. Where is he on track? Yeah, he's navigating. That looks like Campus. And Stavelot, and then Paul Frere, Blanchemont. So, Muir, so far his best, 254.2. Solid effort. I was more in the 256 range when I was driving at Spa, but then again I was in a road car, not a purpose-built race car. Close behind Muir is our pal Jesse Olsen. You see Muir here navigating the bus stop chicane and moving on to the front straight. Here is Olsen, so far a 254.4. So, nothing but 2/10 in the gap between Olsen and Muir. And Olsen is he's moving it to double gauche here. So will he be able to turn in a faster lap and take that pole position away from Muir? We will know shortly. Here's Flannery. He also only has a 2/10 interval to Olsen. Flannery in the number 9 machine. You see him here. I believe he's negotiating Le Camp at the end of the Kemmel Straight. And losing the car and probably losing a little bit of time as he moves down into Brussels. So let's see how Olsen's doing. He's finishing up with Stavelot, moving on to Corbe Paul Frere. And we'll soon be negotiating Blanchemont and the bus stop chicane. Let's see if he can better his time. Now, I'll tell you, having seen Olsen race for a couple of races now, he is Mr. Consistent. This guy can really turn in consistent laps. So, often we've seen, here he is in the bus stop chicane. Now, he's just going to cross the line in a few moments. That's well handled there. Here he is. What can he do? Let's see. Well, he crossed the line, but I didn't get any. He's just going through La Source now. But I didn't get any timing information for him for a last lap. So I don't think that he's been able to move into, been able to sort of better his position. So currently it's looking like Muir, as we watch Olsen navigate Eau Rouge and Radillon. Muir, Olsen, Flannery, Day, Hazelton. Now, it's surprising to me to see Fred Hazelton in P5. Hazelton, a very good qualifier, must just not be too familiar with Spa-Francorchamps, the track. Which is understandable. I mean, if you don't live in Belgium, why would you know it, right? So we're watching Olsen navigate Le Camp and turning now and setting up for Brussels. And I think it's going to be Muir, Olsen, Flannery, Day, Hazelton, Crane, Gummer, Van Nuss, Bandy, and crowd favorite Rick Stengard on the grid tonight. Good to see you, Rick. I hope you are indeed going to join us on the grid for tonight's race. There's Olsen navigating double gauche. Muir, I guess, must feel that he's done the best he could do. He has taken his car off track. It appears Flannery has done the same. There's Olsen again. There's Flannery. Flannery and Lecon, he's doing his best. His interval has improved, Flannery's, to Olsen. He's down to 0.16. So he was previously at 0.2, now under 0.2 at 0.16 to Olsen. It's a really challenging corner there is Brussels, or Brussels. Using every bit of track and then some is Flannery as he moves down in to navigate double gauche. A well-handled slip angle there, if you don't mind me saying so, Flannery. Here is Day. He must be just behind Flannery. And stops on track. There's Crane, stopped on track. Olsen braking and turning in at La Source. Flannery stopping on track. So everybody's getting ready to grid up. So I guess we have our grid. Now let's see what our grid looks like. You can see there the timing tower. It is every bit as beautiful here as it looks, as you might see. You can see it says there Region Wallonie. It is in the Wallonia region of Belgium. We only have one car on track. I believe that's Rick Stengard. And Bandy might be on track as well, but I can't see him. Stengard is in the bus stop chicane according to the track map, but for some reason I can't get the camera to go to his car. Never mind. We'll carry on, friends. After I have a sip of my drink. Now, we've got just a minute or so left for qualifying, so not enough time to complete another lap. So I believe we've seen all of our qualifying, and we will proceed as the results stand currently, which is, let's have a look at it if we can. Indeed. Max Muir is going to be in P1 in the number 11 car. P2, Jesse Olsen, Mr. Consistent. Watch if I'm going to go ahead and call. I'm going to tell you right now, if Muir should make any mistakes during the race, Olsen will be there to pounce. We've seen it happen. P3, Ryan Flannery and Michael Day for company. Fred Hazelton, a great qualifier. Must not be familiar with Spa because a minute and a half off the pace. Jamil Gummer will be accompanying Mr. Hazelton there. Crane and Van Nuss. Bandy and Stengard. Two gentlemen whose company I personally enjoy very much. Love you, boys. All right. Now we're coming to the end of qualifying, friends, and we should be gridding up shortly after that, and then we will get underway at Spa-Francorchamps in the Wallonia region of Belgium. I only wish I was there in person right now, except that currently there it is something like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I would probably be, I don't know. Somebody would ask me what I was doing, I'm sure. All right, let's see here. There he is. That is Muir in the number 11 machine, your pole sitter. We have just about a minute and a half to go to the beginning of the race. Now, Jesse Olsen has taken his place on the grid. There's Flannery in the number 9 machine. Day has yet to make his way to the grid, so we will skip to P5 with Crane in the Castrol livery. Bandy, also in P6, has not quite made it to the grid yet. So here is Gummer in the Sticker Bomb machine. Just about a minute to go. Thank you so much, by the way, to Sonny Chen for helping with the administration of tonight's race. Here is Fred Hazelton in the Valvoline machine, previously in the blue skunk stripe car. This is Scott Lovett in a livery, which is a horse apparently biting a woman's ass. Interesting choice, Lovett. Here is Warren Van Nuss in the In-N-Out Burger livery. Jonathan Greenberg in the Oregano car. And, of course, Wilmot in his favorite application, Grinder. I sincerely hope that Mr. Wilmot is able to finally find the love that he is looking for, because he deserves it. He's a good man, and I know that out there for him somewhere is another good man. All right, we should be just about ready to start. I'm going to try this sort of a view. Let's look at Day. I'm expecting a little bit of carnage up here in La Source in turn 1. Heavy right-hander. Let's see what happens. Starting now, a great start by Day. Well done, Day around Olsen. Unbelievable. So it's going to be Muir, Day, and Olsen into La Source. Olsen on the inside. Crane attempts a move on the inside, but is not able to make it happen. Muir scampering away now. Muir, Olsen, and Flannery. Here's Flannery. Excuse me, that was Flannery who made a move on the inside as they drive down to Eau Rouge and head up through Radillon onto the Kimmel Strait. Does anybody lose their car at the top of Radillon? No, they do not. Well done, gentlemen. Here is your leader, Muir. And you can see the field behind as we head down the Kimmel Strait into Le Camp. So far, we've had a pretty clean race, which is frankly surprising. I'm not seeing any puffs of smoke. Everybody keeping it pretty clean. I'm thrilled about that. Well done, gentlemen. Well done. You like to see a clean race. That's one of my favorite things about this, is just that we've got regular folks who enjoy motorsport as we move through Brussels. And that looked like Flannery getting very close to Day's car there. So Muir, Day, Flannery, Olsen, Hazelton, and Gummer. Pretty tight on through the field, which I'm pleased to see as we go down into Double Gauche. We are on Muir at the moment, who's got a little bit of a gap on Day, who is followed closely by Flannery and Olsen. Now watch carefully, because as I said, Olsen will run a very clean race. And although he's in P4 at the moment, you may very well see Day or Flannery, or Muir for that matter, have some sort of a... I almost used a very nasty word. Have some sort of trouble, and then Olsen is able to move to the front merely by turning in consistent laps. So here we head toward Blanchemont. Navigating Blanchemont now. Day taking a very weird inside line there. I'm not sure why he chose to do that, but I believe he's lost some... I believe he lost ground to Flannery in the process. Now, bus stop should be an interesting situation for these drivers, but they make it through. Well done. I can see Hazelton back there with Gummer hot on his tail. So now we move to La Source for the first time at full speed, the first flying lap. Here we go. Let's see if we have any developments. We got Muir, Flannery, Day, and Olsen. Here's Flannery. Day. Hazelton and Gummer. Wilmot here in the grinder car, hoping, as I'm sure we all are, that he someday finds the man of his dreams. You'll do it, Wilmot. It'll happen for you, buddy. That guy's out there. Not sure grinder is the place to find him, but you are worthy of love, as we all are. Keep that in your mind, Wilmot. Keep that in your mind. So here's Muir into Lacan again at the end of the Kimmel Straight. That looked like Day attempting a move. Olsen has moved up into P3. And it looks to me, if I'm not mistaken, it looks to me like Day and Olsen are mixing it up a little bit. Day must have had some sort of an issue, and Olsen was able to pounce because he was in P4 last time we came around Brussels here and headed into Double Gauche. There's some serious abuse of track limits here as we set up for Double Gauche. Interesting to me that iRacing doesn't seem to be bothered about that. This is the point on the track when it was raining that I was able to get around all of the rear drive cars because they were terrified about spinning out, losing their car, and incurring many, many euros of fees. But because I was in a Hyundai front drive, I had none of those concerns. We're following Day currently to see if he is able to close up on Olsen. It does not believe he will be able to do that. Mr. Consistent, Olsen, I suspect, before too long will be able to close up on Flannery and Muir, especially if the two of them mixing it up causes an incident as we go down into Blanchemont and once more to the bus stop chicane. Flannery all over Muir, has a little look, doesn't quite have the speed. Maybe it happens under braking. Flannery looked to me, Olsen overcooked that one. Overcooked it, but seems to have not lost too much ground today. Perhaps Day just wasn't quite able to capitalize. But here we go as Muir moves over to turn once again into La Source. And Day attempts, it looks like he was just attempting a move on the inside of Olsen there into La Source, but he just wasn't able to make it happen. Once more we go, friends, down into Eau Rouge and then Radillon. Muir, Flannery, Olsen, Day. Now, we don't have that. There's not much in terms of, we're now on lap 3 of 16. Not much in terms of time between the top 7 cars. So between Muir and Wilmot, who, as you recall, is a man desperately waiting for that right person to find him. Not much of a gap, but say 4.5 seconds or so. You can see Wilmot back there in the orange grinder car. As we go once more into Brussels, that looked like some panic braking there in Brussels for Muir. It is a terribly challenging corner, is Brussels, because it falls away quite a lot. It's hard to see here on iRacing, but it is a huge drop. And you go into Le Camp at the end of the Kimmel Straight, brake hard, right turn, right turn again, and then you're down into Brussels, which is a hairpin, a pretty tight hairpin, and you're also losing a ton of elevation. So it's a really, really tough corner. As you can see here, Flannery is all over Muir, and you wonder if he'll be able to make a pass. Being able to be all over Muir like this, I wonder if Flannery will be able to scamper away if he's able to make that pass. I only hope they're able to keep it clean so that the race is decided on skill as we all want it to be rather than some sort of incident. But I'm telling you, Flannery, just the fact that Flannery's able to be all over Muir like that as they go down here now into Blanchemont. I mean, there's a lot of trust involved. Wilmot having a little look, seems to me like a look at the outside as they go down into the bus stop chicane. Muir covering off the inside and is able to get the car stopped and get it around the bus stop chicane. And here we are on the straight once again. So now it looks to me like we have a lead pack of 4, although Flannery now distancing Olsen just a little bit and Day behind him as we go to La Source. Late braking there, it seems to me. Waiting down, the cars seem to be waiting to about like the 100-meter mark, which the front straight is not very long, as you know, because you're watching the broadcast. But normally it seems to me like you'd be wanting to look for that 150-meter mark to start your braking, and they seem to be waiting a bit later than that. So now that the tires are warmed up, I guess we've got some confidence in our machines, which is exactly what we want to see, is it not? Yes, it is, Jim, and thank you for saying so. Well, you're welcome, friends. This is, after all, a broadcast. So here is your lead pack of 4, and it looks to me like Gummer has been able to make a little bit of space on Wilmot. Here's Gummer in the sticker bomb car, going through Lacan, and that looked like a 4 off to me in Lacan. Wilmot here, looking for love, and deserving of it, Wilmot. You'll get there. And Hazelton looking to see what he can make of any problems Wilmot has. Now, here we have a group of 3 behind. This is Van Nuss. A brilliant human being is Warren Van Nuss, and a great engineer. I'm a big fan of his mental capacities in the in and out car. Followed closely behind by Greenberg, whom I do not know personally, but I know that he is a fan of cooking. Otherwise, why would he choose for himself the oregano car? Let's get a good look at that car. Here it is. As you can see, covered in oregano, the number 420 machine. I'm not sure what that means, but I do know that oregano is delicious. And, you know, particularly if I'm considering making an omelet. I talk about this every stream when I see this car, but looking at Greenberg's car just makes me think, wouldn't it be delicious right now to have an omelet with a little bit of cheese? As we see Crane get a little bit loose there behind Greenberg. But an omelet with a little bit of cheese, maybe some ham, or maybe chorizo. But I'll tell you what it definitely needs, and that's a little bit of oregano. Now, some people say that you can't put oregano directly in an omelet, like it needs to be fresh oregano in order for it to really get the flavor. And I'm here for that. I mean, I believe that is true about oregano. But I'll tell you something, even dried oregano, you throw it in the pan, you heat it up a little bit, that is good eating. Here's Crane in the Castro livery. Stengard, the man, the myth, the legend. I just want to quickly shout out Rick Stengard, a very kind and good man. When I was considering buying a track car for myself, a project for my wife and I to build together, the Exomotive Exoset, Rick was kind enough to let us drive his car around in a parking lot at Caffeine and Octane. And he didn't know us from Adam's house cat. He did that just because he's a kind human being. And he's also done me a couple of solids professionally in my performance career as well, so I appreciate that. Now, I'm going to have to move away from Rick to Jesse Olsen because I just saw that he took the lead away from Muir, who appears to be contesting it, and I believe we're headed down the hill into Brussels right now. Yes, indeed we are. I was just having a laugh moving through the field and talking about everybody in the field, and Olsen was able to get ahead of Muir. So Muir will be driving angry now as they head down into double gauche, and it appears to me that Flannery is feeling the same way, being just behind Day. So you'll have to excuse me, viewers, for not following the action to know exactly what happened. I'm just scrolling through the session events. Doesn't look like there was any relevant sort of a moment. So I guess there must have been just some kind of mistake that allowed Olsen to capitalize and get ahead of Muir. But it looks like Muir is going to take the place back as they're setting up for Blanchement. They're too wide here. Seems to me Muir's got track position. Now we're heading into Blanchement. A pack of that's a pretty tight, a pretty tight pack of 4 setting up for the bus stop. What will happen here? A lot of cars moving down through this very tight corner. Day bumping and moving around. Flannery bumping into folks. Now Muir loses the rear of the car, but manages to stay in the lead. Has track position on the inside, heading down to La Source. Will Flannery be able to muscle his way past Day? Everybody lined up for La Source. They take the racing line. Flannery does make a move on Day, but does not, well, we'll see. I was just going to say, does not appear to have the momentum to make it stick, but he is making things happen as they head down to Eau Rouge. What will happen through Eau Rouge and Radillon? Flannery stays in P3. Now they are at the top of Radillon, and Flannery appears to have control of the car as we go to the Kemmel Straight. So that appears to be a reasonably clean pass for Flannery. So current leaders. Muir managed to get around Olsen once more. Flannery and Day. Now we're coming to Le Camp, the end of the Kemmel Straight, and Flannery's attempting a move on Olsen. Dips a couple of wheels, but manages to make it stick as they head down into Brussels. It's a pretty exciting series of corners, and behind there's been a little bit of shakeup as well. So we've got Wilmot has been able to get around Gummer. Gummer must have had some sort of an incident. So that's Wilmot, Gummer, and Hazelton. I would not be surprised if Wilmot got a little taparoo going into double gauche. Would not surprise me one bit. But they're able to keep it clean. Everybody had an optimum slip angle, it looks like there. Back to the leaders. Here's Muir. Looks like he's got a little bit of distance on Olsen. There's Olsen in the Racing Sim Tools machine. It looks like the side of his car has got a little bit of damage on the inside, so he must have been knocking around with some of the other cars there. And Flannery's car looks a little bit beat up as well. They're making a little bit of distance on Day. Flannery's going to try to see what he can do. Might be able to make a move on Olsen. Looks like he might. He doesn't have track position going through Radillon, but he might be able to make something happen as they go to the bus stop chicane. What will happen? Flannery completely off the track. Blanchement. But has the inside line for the bus stop chicane. Will he be able to make this stick? Olsen late brakes. Loses the rear. Runs into Flannery's car, and Day is able to come around the outside. Bold attempt on Olsen's part there, if I dare say so, and I do dare say so. But lost the rear of the car. Now, it seems to me I hear some smashing around. That might be Wilmot, Gummer, and Hazelton bonking into one another as they go to La Source. There's Hazelton in the number 3 machine. Moving through the rest of the field, here's Van Nuss in the in-and-out car heading down toward Eau Rouge. Crane Castro livery. Greenberg in the Oregano car. And here is Kevin Bandy in the Mazda Speed machine. Now, you might be wondering, have I asked my friend Bandy to come up with a better livery than this? Well, yes, I have. Has he ignored me? Well, yes, he has. So it goes, friends. So it goes. And it looks like Stengard is off track, as is Lovett. Let's see here. Perhaps they've given up. I think they must have. Well, back to the leaders. Let's see if we can find Mirror on track. I'm sure that we can. Well, it looks like Day has been able to get around Olsen somehow. So there's Mirror, your leader. Here's your top five. Mirror, Flannery in second. Day, Olsen. Interesting. Let's see if there was some kind of a... Just looking to see if there was an event of some kind, like Olsen had an off track, as did Crane, but Crane is back through the field. Let's see what happened with the Olsen going off track. This is a replay. Car is pretty beat up. Something must have happened to him. He must have gotten one for just going off track there. Your leader, Muir, now has 3 seconds on the field behind. And here's Flannery in P2 with Day all over him. And Olsen, here we go to the bus stop. Day is going to try a move on Flannery. He's going to try to do the inside, muscle his way through. Is he able to do it? It looks like he's got a... No, Flannery's clawing it back with Olsen right on their back porch. What will happen as we head down through La Source? Olsen might be able to make a move on the inside. He's going to try it, it looks like. Day pushes him even farther inside. So Flannery first through La Source. Day loses the car. Olsen up into P3 around Day, but Day is going to have the momentum and is going to try to claw it back as they go down to Eau Rouge. I don't know if he'll be able to make it happen. He does. They go too wide through Eau Rouge, heading up Radillon together. Olsen's car sliding around at the top of Radillon, and now they're on the straight. So I think Day has used up his momentum and will not be able to claw that place back from Olsen at this time as we head down to Le Camp. So how did Muir get a 4-second interval on these 3 cars? It is a mystery. So here we are on lap 8 of 16, nearing the middle of the race. We should start seeing cars head into the pits for a splash of fuel and possibly some tires very soon. As you see Flannery setting up for double gauche. Gauche being, of course, French for left. As a double left turn. This series also known as Pouhon. So let's see if Muir staying at about 4 seconds as they heading down into Stavelot. I wonder if he'll be able to make anything out of this 4 seconds, if he's able to scamper away. It could be quite a maneuver on his part. Looks like Flannery. Yep. Let's see if Olsen's able to make any kind of a move on Flannery. Let's just ride alongside with Olsen as they head down here into the bus stop chicane. Let's see if Olsen's able to do anything. Nope, stays right with Flannery as we head onto the straight. Yep. Now you'll see the meter markers coming up on your far left to tell you when your braking point is. As soon as this fence ends at the left, that's 150 meters. So I would expect to brake now, but they're waiting until more like 60 meters. And you can see that Muir in the distance does not appear to be able to make any time on the field. Here we are. That's Flannery, Olsen, and Day as a group through Eau Rouge now. Up Radillon. And onto the Kemmel Straight once more. Day's got to be kicking himself right now because there's all this movement. There's all this movement around in the field in places 1 through 3, but Day doesn't quite seem to have been able to capitalize on it himself as they head down the Kemmel Straight to Le Camp. Now, as I say that, Day is making a move on Olsen into Le Camp. They're able to keep it clean. He had to brake a little bit early because he was on the inside. There's nothing he could do. Nothing he could do. Heading down to Brussels. Let's see if we have any movement through this section. Muir's still only ahead by about 4.3 seconds, so he's not moving away. Despite the fact that these 3 cars are fighting one another for places 2 through 4, Muir does not appear to be able to make any tracks on them. But what I mean is that, if these 3 cars are fighting one another, oftentimes they're a few tenths slower lap time wise than a leader who's got clear air and doesn't have anyone up his trumpet. But he does not appear to be able to capitalize in that way, and these 3 are staying together pretty close. As we head into the second half of the race, we are now on lap 9 of 16. Will be lap 10 as we go across the start-finish line the next time. Let's just take a quick trip through the field. Here is Hazelton, has been able to make some kind of a move on Wilmot and Gummer as he's now leading that group with Van Nuss behind. So we're looking here at Hazelton. So that's Hazelton, Wilmot, the man looking for and certainly deserving love, Wilmot in the grinder car, and then Gummer in the sticker bomb car, and Van Nuss in the in and out car. Wilmot certainly looking to do a bit of in and out himself, as are we all, as they head through Blanchemont. And then here is Crane in the Castro livery, Greenberg in the Oregano car. And finally, last but far from least, closest to my heart, you know him, you love him, Kevin Bandy. Sad to see Stengard off track. Not sure what's happening with Rick, but I wish he would get in his car and do a bit of driving. So let's go back to our leaders. Muir pits. You can just see his car. He's in the pits there. Flannery also pits. Olsen in the pit. Day in the pit. Everybody in the pit. Hazelton pits. Wilmot pits. Gummer pits. Van Nuss pits. Crane pits. Greenberg, what you gonna do, pal? You gonna pit? Maybe when you get there, right? Here's my question to you, viewers. What is it about the car's number 420 that relates to oregano? Now, listen. My mother was a chef, and I grew up around cooking. I'm very familiar with herbs and spices. I'm not a cook myself, but I do know a few things about, how to make food. Familiar with herbs and spices, a big fan of oregano, but I don't know what that number 420 has to do with oregano, but Greenberg seems awfully just a big fan of that number 420. I don't get it. But I tell you what, I do want to go to Greenberg's house because I would love it if he would make me an omelet with, naturally, some oregano. So how's Muir doing? He's out of the pits and steaming along, as is Flannery, Olsen, and Day. back together in their 3 groups. Now, as a result of the pits, it looks like Muir has not been able to gain any time. You'll recall that he was about 4.3 ahead of this group as they all pitted together, and he's now only about 4.5 ahead of them. So there wasn't any great big shakeup as a result of the pit stop. What's going on behind? Well, here's Hazelton and Gummer as they're heading through Brussels. Gummer, it looks like, very nearly making a move on Hazelton. You want to be careful with that, Gummer, or you'll get the world-famous Hazelton hit check. Gummer gets ahead, but he's on the outside as they go to double gauche, and he's able to make it stick. Solid, clean pass on the part of Gummer. Well done to you, sir. And then following behind is Van Nuss. And last, but far from least, Wilmot. Looking for love. And, as is well known, deserving it as well. Here's Crane driving off the track in double gauche. So here is your leader, Muir. He has been able to make a little bit of space on the group behind. He's now up to 4.8 as he heads through Blanchemont. Turning in some serious lap times are these guys. Navigating the bus stop chicane and onto the front straight. So we should now be on lap 11 of 16. We are indeed. So 5 laps to go or so. And does appear that Muir is making tracks on the rest of the field as this pack navigates the La Source. Olsen, Flannery, and Day. It looked like on the timing screen there was a little bit of a shakeup through La Source, but just tough for the computer to know who is ahead. Olsen taking all of the track through Eau Rouge. And let's see what kind of space that gives him by the time they get to the top of Radillon. It appears that it did work for him because he's got a little bit of breathing room back to Day, who has no breathing room at all to Flannery, and Flannery is driving off the track on the Kemmel Straight. Through Lake Call. Handling everything well. Olsen choosing not to use all the track there, which is surprising to me. It is a fast left-right is Lake Call, and that next little turn there. I forget the next turn's name. Malmedy. That's Lake Call and Malmedy. Heading downhill now toward double gauche. You might have heard the term gauche as it relates to something that is uncouth or uncool. And it just means left-handed. Kind of like how in Italian, left is sinistra. Sinistra. Like sinister, left-handed. Sinistra, sinister. Languages are crazy like that, huh? But anyway, that one's called double gauche because it's French. The Wallonia region of Belgium, they don't speak French in all of Belgium. In the Flemish half, the northern half of Belgium, they speak a lot more Dutch. And in Brussels, you can say basically whatever you want in any language and they'll pretty much understand. As long as you're ordering a beer, which I certainly will be. Olsen in P2 as we head down to the bus stop chicane. This is lap 11 of 16. As you see Muir scampering away in the distance, I would not be surprised at all to see Olsen able to hang on to this P2. I'm sure it would burn a little bit for Olsen not to win this race. He is our highest Well, I say that. Van Nuss has an A rating on his license. Olsen, the only other A rating license on the grid. The rest of these guys are Bs, except for Greenberg in the Oregano car, who is a D. Come on, Greenberg. I'm kidding. Love you, buddy. Once more, onto the Kimmel Straight. Go. The group of Olsen, Day, and Flannery. With Muir in the distance. He's got his gap up to about 5 seconds now, but it doesn't appear to be, as Olsen gives Day a little taparoo. Day trying desperately to make a move on Olsen heading into Le Camp, but not able to make it work. Day gets on the anchors because he realized he had dipped a couple of wheels and he was going to have a problem there. And so Flannery is able to get around Day. So Flannery up into P3. And now we are Muir, Olsen, Flannery, and Day. Five laps to go. Heading down into double gauche. Did Olsen fix his car during the pit stop? Let's just have a little look. Yes, it looks nice. Took on a couple of new body panels during his pit stop. Well done to you, sir. As they head down through Stavelot into Paul Fair. Muir is still just about 5 seconds away, so he's able to make some time, but now Olsen has got a little bit of a gap back to Flannery and Day. If Flannery and Day, it's only 5 seconds from Muir to Olsen, but if Flannery and Day are mixing it up and giving each other the old Hazelton hip check as they go through each one of these corners, that might free Olsen up to try to catch Muir, which is within his capability to do. Day might try to make a move here. Let's see what happens as they head down to La Source. Is Day going to try anything on Flannery? It doesn't appear so. He decides instead to play it safe and hopefully get some kind of a run on Flannery down to Eau Rouge. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it, to see a race where you know the cars are all the same. There's none of this crazy machine shop madness with real spec racing, because these are all computer cars, so they are all exactly the same. It's nothing but driver ability. So Muir down there braking for Le Camp, and then Olsen, who's got only a second on Flannery, who's got nothing at all on Day, who's just about in Flannery's back seat, playing with his hair. Looked like a little bit of a bobble there for Day through Le Camp, heading down to Brussels. And behind, they've gotten a little bit, they've run away from Gummer, who's nearly just over 9 seconds behind at this point. Flannery using every bit of the track and some of the parking lot. I'm seeing on the Discord that iRacing lets people be a little bit crazy on the track limits at Spa, as it looks like Day was attempting to go around Flannery there through double gauche, but he wasn't quite able to make it happen. Very close to Flannery's car. Muir's gap still at about 5 seconds to Olsen, but Olsen now has over a second away from Flannery, Let's just take a trip through the field really quick. Here's Gummer running all by himself in the sticker car as he heads down to Stavelot. Behind him is Van Nuss. Sliding into the frame is our old pal, Fred Hazelton. And behind him is Wilmot. And I just want to reach out to you on Wilmot's behalf and let you know that while it may be troublesome to find a good partner in life, I think, honestly, if you just focus on yourself and you're a good person and you're honest with people and you have good relationships, Wilmot, you will be able to find the man for you. I'm not sure that Grindr is the way to do that, but you have value, as we all do. You're a human. You're loved. You're a good person. Just be open, be emotionally available, be honest, and you can make it happen, pal. Here's Crane in the Castrol livery. White wheels. Great choice, Crane. Great choice. And finally, Bandy. You know him, you love him. Heading down into Brussels. Bandy, get a different livery, for God's sake. Mazda Speed shit is tired. All right, back to your leaders. Here's Muir. It looks like the Camel Straight to me. Looks like we're setting up for Le Camp, and indeed we are. Muir's gap, 4.7 seconds, so he's able to maintain it. The 11 machine working well for him. We have 3 laps to go. This is lap 14 of 16. So when we cross the line next time, we will be on lap 15 because that's how numbers work. I apologize to explain. I'm sorry for explaining math to you guys. You guys know that much. What a race it has been. I wish I was just about to say that I wish every week we were racing at Spa. Just because I love this track so much and I love thinking about how much fun I had driving there myself. What a treat. If you would like to go and drive at Spa, Jzilla can help. Keep your eyes open for opportunities to go to Belgium and drive at Spa. You could have a trip leader like me, a trip leader like Kevin Bandy. Some really awesome people like that. Definitely look out for trips led by myself or Kevin. If you're interested in somebody who can speak the local language, I'm your guy. If you're interested in somebody who's just a good person to hang around, probably you want Bandy. Here we're following Olsen through Blanchemont. He has got himself just about a second and a half back to Flannery, who's got 0.2 today. Now we'll follow these two as they head down to the bus stop. Day has a little look on the inside. Does not seem to have the speed to make it happen. Very narrowly avoids any kind of incident with Flannery. That was some decent driving on Day's part to avoid giving Flannery the taparoo. Well done, Day. So now Day's on the outside. Flannery's got track position as they head down to La Source. Who will brake first? Watch those taillights. That looked like Flannery hit the brakes a little earlier, but he was on the inside, so that makes sense. Day forced to go outside, but has the momentum and takes the place from Flannery around La Source. So Day into P3. That's how that's done. They were able to keep it clean. Textbook pass on Day's part there, if you don't mind me saying so, and I know that you don't. So I'm seeing on the timing screen that Olsen is first, and something has happened to Muir. What happened to Muir? What on earth? Something. I'm just scrolling down through the events. According to this, Muir is missing. Did he lose internet connection or did his computer restart? Don't know. Something strange happened to Muir, I think. He's gray on my timing screen. Something awful has happened to Muir. He's disappeared. He's been abducted by aliens or something along those lines. Well, anyway, here's Olsen with 2 laps to go. This is 15 of 16. Now, it says 2 laps to go, but the next time he goes across the start-finish line, it will be the final lap. He should see the white flag as he comes across the finish line the last time. Which he will do shortly. That's Olsen. Yeah, he's reading first. Something happened to Muir. Sorry to see that. It didn't look like there was any kind of incident in the incident list, so he must have, his computer shut down or he lost power or something like that. Now, behind Olsen, it looked to me like Flannery was just trying to get around Day. Flannery and Day fighting it out for P2, and Day comes out on top through the bus stop that time. So here we go for the final lap. Olsen first to La Source. Let's see what happens with Day and Flannery. Looks like they're going to stay in there. Day using every bit of the track and, in fact, driving around to a mall nearby. I see that Muir is typing on the Discord. He lost power. Oh, no. Muir lost power. So sorry to hear that. That is unfortunate. The race was all but his, and he lost power. He says, just my luck. Sorry to see that, but we do have a race to finish here. So Flannery having a look on Day down the Kimmel Straight as they head into Le Camp, and it looks to me like Flannery is ahead of Day. Looks like he's going to take that place back, but what will happen as they break for Le Camp? Will Flannery be able to keep that place? It looks like he is able to so far. This is probably the most hotly contested place we have on the grid at the moment. Day, Flannery, nose to tail as they head down the hill to Brussels. And indeed, Flannery is able to stay ahead, moving over to track right to set up to head down the hill some more for Double Gauche. Day has a look leading into Double Gauche. He's got the inside line. Is he able to make anything happen? I would be surprised. Tough place to pass on the course. Headed downhill, lots of momentum. Now Day pays the price for that inside line attempt with extra momentum on the outside and track out of Double Gauche. Flannery so far able to fend him off. This is the race for second position. Day had a little look on the inside there, but wisely tapped the brakes because that would have resulted in a coming together. Very sportsmanlike of Day to do that. That would have, who knows what would have happened, but it wouldn't have been a very clean pass. I think Day saw that and got on the brakes a little bit, just as a maneuver of sportsmanlike. So the biggest moment I think we're going to see here is heading down into the bus stop. Day has a little look on the outside. Day's able to get alongside Flannery. Now here we go down to Blanchemont. Day takes the lead. Is Flannery going to be able to take it back under braking into the bus stop? He definitely looks into the inside. Does not seem to be able to pull into the inside. Day gets the car stopped. Manages to take the place from Flannery and keeps it together. And here we go, sprint to the line, and he's able to hold on to P2. So well done, Day, for being able to get around Flannery there. Well done to both drivers for being able to keep it clean as they contest for P2. And now we see the donuts. Olsen taking the win as Gummer and that was Van Nuss smashing into those guys. Oh, Lord. There goes Wilmot. That's no way to find a good partner, Wilmot. Well, excuse me for that thing that said incorrect information. Guys, thank you so much for joining me at Spa. There's some... Wow. I didn't know that I didn't know that the software did fireworks like that. That's amazing. I have been your commentator, Jim Hodgson. Thank you so much for joining us. I am half of Cross-Threaded. The other half, of course, is my wife, Megan. And you have been watching the Jzilla Tuesday night iRacing at Spa as the drivers cavort and frolic in the runoff area of La Source. Do join us. I'm not sure how many races we have left in the series, but this is so much fun every week. So sorry that Muir lost power there at the end, but congratulations to Olsen on the win. Congratulations to Day on his final lap pass of Flannery. Congratulations to everybody else for a great, clean race. Cannot wait to see more races with you guys. Again, I have been Jim Hodgson. Do join us. Watch the Cross-Threaded YouTube channel for more of these races. Jzilla on Facebook. All that stuff. Man, what a lot of fun. Thank you so much for hanging with us. And we'll see you next time.